So it's on. So Monte, I don't know how you say your name properly. It's Monte Farber, right? Am I saying right? Okay. So the main reason that I invited you is not only because of your work, but because of your life experience. I find it really refreshing because most people that are endorsed to the spiritual world somehow are occultists or people that work, with energy. Usually they like to see themselves as gurus of some type, and you and Amy are the complete opposite. You are in the field, and you have been through almost everything, because I've when I buy a set of cards, a deck, a tarot deck, I do a lot of research about the person, that created that deck. So I was searching, for a long time, and almost at the same time, I know that you created this. This was edited in, the karma cards were in 88, I guess. And
Wow.
you were, yeah, I think it was 88. And you had, you were going through your first Saturn return. So for me, I was exactly at the same time looking for a set of cards that, had, besides, the tarot astrologique and all the things that you have in the 20s and 90s and in the end of the 19th century, something that was workable and had, the planets and the houses, because I'm an astrologer as well, and most people don't talk about the lunar nodes or the north and south node. Okay, so it is really refreshing. Has been, a life-changing experience for me to work with your with this tarot deck. So thank you for your work. And this is the first one, the first thing that I wanted to tell you, so you can understand how, someone in Portugal wanted to do an interview with you. That's the main reason, okay? Because it's an amazing work. So congratulations,
Yep.
and that's
Yep.
it. Sorry.
Chills. The hairs are right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, it's a complete honor. So thank you so much for having this opportunity right here. And as I told you, I have several questions. I'm not going to be intrusive in any way if you don't want to answer to some of them. But I'm really curious about your life and the work and the way that you started doing things with Amy, because you are this force, this duo, this creative duo, and it's amazing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see for so many years. So um, first of all, thank you again for being here. And the first question that I wanted to ask you is, how would you describe yourself?
That's a, um, I don't know. I'm just I feel like I'm just a person who
Hmm.
can advantage, just the way people take advantage of cars and take advantage of airplanes and all the modern conveniences. I've just explored the world I found myself in, and to me, the spiritual world is like exercise.
Hmm.
I want to be as healthy as I can be, and to be as healthy as I can be, I also want to know about creating my own reality. I want to know about anything I can do that can make my world and other people's worlds better. But just like I know how to do carpentry and electricity and all this other stuff, and plumbing even, which is so hard to achieve. But, I don't see any, and I don't see any difference in all the things. I've never. There's a lot of people that I know who don't know how to fix things. I know how to fix things. I've always been interested in how things work, and that tends to reality. And when I saw astrology, I mean, my standard joke is when I met Amy, she was studying astrology, and I was studying Amy, so I learned astrology because
Ooh, okay. That's amazing. And is it true that you met on the set of a
yep,
adult movie? back in, I don't know, 74. Is that correct? Because that production was aiming to be the first adult, first feminist movie. First production. It was. I never saw it. I don't know if it's a urban myth or not.
Yeah, that's true. In October 23rd, 1974. I have to say,
Okay.
wonderful drawing behind your painting. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's mine. It's mine. I'm also an illustrator and movie maker and photographer, so that's why your career, it's so amazing
Yes. I mean, to me,
so
that image reminds me of us. It's a man and a woman, and separate but together, and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
different things. I relate very strongly to it. Congratulations, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I mean, you're asking good questions. I mean, what has happened with Amy and I is it's become so hard to introduce us. If we're on a podcast or if we're on a radio or any show, that we're doing a documentary because we've done so many different things.
Thanks. Yes.
When I did karma cards, my publisher said, "Well, you got to stick to astrology. You can't." As I tried to sell them with the Enchanted Tarot, no, I said, "No, I don't think we're going to do that."
Amazing. Oh
No,
God.
do
Mm.
the tarot, which is now, a classic tarot deck, and it's been all our stuff is still in print since the 80s and the early 90s, and
Mm-hmm.
but your question is amazing to me because my life, and I guess everyone's life, is like climbing a ladder. You don't usually look down because it makes you very nervous.
A little bit, and you had so many ups and downs, and
Yes,
it's an amazing journey.
we we've been rejected. We've had books go out of print. We've sold them again to a different publisher.
Mhm.
We Some projects we've sold 3 times because we believe in them. We put everything we have into what we do. And as you know, as an artist, it's not easy being an artist, and you just
No,
have.
not at all. Yes.
And so that's what we do. Actually, June 11th is going to be our 45th wedding anniversary. We've been together.
Really? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's amazing.
Porno movie
Congratulations.
called Up the Girls. It was supposed to be the first feminist porno movie. I, I used to play in a jam group with the cellist who played for Cat Stevens. He has a different name now, but
I know. I know. How is your relationship with music today? You still play or create anything, yeah, connected to it?
much, and I'm friendly with very good musicians, but I don't play because I've been working on a book about how to read an astrology chart. That'll take someone
Mm,
who just doesn't know anything but is interested, and it's sort of karma cards on steroids. It takes you from not knowing anything to by the end
to,
you're an astrologer, and
mhm.
I just submitted 90,000 words of it. It's still not finished, but I figured I have to submit it so my publisher knows that I haven't disappeared with the money.
That's a good one.
I've been working on it for years, and I think it's gonna help a lot of people. That's what I really like to do. I like to help people. I tried to do that with my music. I did songs like "We Are One" and all kind. "Children of the Sun," and I even wrote a song about menstruation called "Period Piece." I mean, I've always been trying to help people, but but music was like a pan without a handle. I just couldn't pick it up. But the
Yeah.
book business opened right up.
Okay.
Cards. I met this company that had done the Book of Runes and Liz Green's. Uh, she has a tarot deck, and I met them at a book fair. And I said, I have this card game that tells the future. It's based on astrology. I had it just on file cards.
Mhm.
Said, let's play it. So we played it, and they got a great answer. I said, you got a great answer. What'd you ask? We said, we asked if we should publish your thing. So let's do it.
Oh my God. That was, yeah,
That's the book business as opposed to the music business,
it's
which is
amazing.
14 until I was 38. It still hadn't happened. So I can take a hint.
Yes, yes, yes. I sure you do. So I have several questions to do besides. So, in a nutshell, you would consider yourself as a creator and you use your creativity, and some other as a creator, you have like a kind of a Renaissance man, and you do all these things, in order to help. That's how you define yourself. That's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just doing what I can. I find myself where I am. I do what I can with what I have. I'm just like
Hmm.
everybody else. You know,
Yes.
Amy and I definitely don't want to be gurus,
That's it.
pointers, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I grew up. My father was a New York City police sergeant, as became my brother, my stepbrother.
Mhm.
Very suspicious of most people, and anytime I've ever met gurus or all, I'm very suspicious. I would never put myself in a position
Of a guru. Yeah.
or to be in a cult or to be in a follower of a guru because
Hmm.
are just people. They have their strengths, their weakness. Well, you're an astrologer, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. We're all humans, and yeah, that's it. And coming up as with an aura of that, I have the answer for
Oh, yeah,
everyone and for everything. It's so dangerous, and well, we have Pluto in Aquarius right now. We're going to deal with all these things now, right?
right on
That's it.
yeah, Pluto and Aquarius right on my sun. It's
Whoa. Yeah. 22nd January, right? You're on the
yes,
20th. Yeah, that's it.
2 degrees away from my sun, and I've been renovating and resurrecting and moving trees, and later on I'm going to be scrubbing a toilet seat before I send it off for repair. Anything with plutonic stuff, I'm like, yeah, give it to me.
Dealing
Anything
with the dirt, dealing with the dirt. Yes.
in the basement and changing the waistline and the plumbing, anything that's like that. Okay, Pluto, I'm going to give you all this stuff. Just don't kill me, because Pluto requires transformation.
Yeah. So
I'm,
are you ready for the next 20 years?
well, I'm 73. That would be great. I mean, if I could do that, I mean,
You will. You will.
live with. She lived to be 102, so I know it's possible.
It's possible. It's completely possible. We're going to be when we're going to be 102, we're going to do another life with your permission. We're going to be celebrating. Don't worry. That's it. You're going to get to see Pluto in, new romantics in with the Pluto in Pisces. It's going to be really weird. That's going to be really weird.
That would be
I'm a
great.
Pisces. I'm a Pisces, so I'm the next.
So I have my moon there. I have my moon at 28 degrees. So I have Neptune right there right now.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, it's going to be retrogrades also in the end of the month. So this is, yeah.
I mean, I've become psychic from writing the books about, like, and after Karma Cards, my intuition got better because
Mm-hmm.
before there were computers, before
Mm-hmm.
there were computers, so I had to have it in my head how the sentences were going to lay out. And like I said, I did it on file cards. And at the time, I was in charge of security for the movie of a chorus line. And so I would practice with all the different actors and the different dancers. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. It's not the best movie in the world,
I've
but
seen this because I've had access to. I don't know if it was a biography. I don't know if it was in your site or another site, but it was the thing that was striking to me is that you had all these occupations, you had all this as a bodyguard, as a musician, so many things. I can really identify with that, because I had so many works, different jobs, and in several completely different things. It's just like role playing at a certain point, but it's
the joke around here is we didn't want to have 9 to 5 jobs, so we ended up with
that's
90.
it. That's it. That's it. Precisely.
So I'll show you my chart since you're an astrologer. Because I
Mhm.
can I have this very strange app called.
Oh,
Hmm. So, so
oh
I
my.
in my book, I talk to people. I say, look, it's like looking at a pizza, and the first thing you can tell whether you know astrology or not is are the top
Yes,
all in one area or are they spread out around the pie? And if they're spread out around the pie, that means you can do a lot of different things.
exactly. I'm more concentrated. My chart is more concentrated than that. Several stelliums, but I Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my, oh my. I'm saying, but it's so funny you were talking about, the 27 degrees because, well, 27, 28 for me are for me 27, it's, the beginning of, energetic degrees and it's all about learning, but it's so because it's amazing. You have sun in Aquarius and the moon in Pisces.
yeah,
It's
I love
oh my.
watching you do this, and for people that are watching you
Mhm.
broadcast, this is why astrology is worth learning because it enhances your ability to understand people and understand life so much more.
Exactly.
You reach inside yourself to figure out the answer as what's going on with a particular person. It's so wonderful. I mean, that's what I was so excited about when I first learned astrology. I was a musician at the time, and Amy's roommate from college was a man named Rupert Smith, who was at the time doing all the silk screening for Andy Warhol, which is how I met Andy Warhol several times.
Mhm.
Rupert looked at my chart and he said, in his immediate, inimitable voice, he said, "Well, the music's all right, but you're going to make it as a writer." I thought, Jesus, I never even thought of being a writer. Never even occurred to me. But he was
Never
absolutely right. We've sold 3 million books in 18 languages.
go figure that. Yeah, there must be something there. That's it. That's it.
It did come out in Portuguese, but I think it was in Brazil.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Because Portugal, it's still. I already interviewed other tarot readers and writers that are connected to astrology and astronomy and so forth. And Portugal is still a very conservative place, full of and religion, Catholic religion. It's still really heavy because most of our population are old people. It's changing a little bit, but still old people. So the old ways, are still brewing in here.
Everyone from here is moving to Portugal. I know several people.
Really? Yeah, we're receiving lots of people, right now because it is a safe country. We have a lot of stability. It's not we're suffering a little bit because of speculation, because of tourism, but among other things, I feel that we are on the verge of something, and I hope it's for the better because people are really starting to wake up to other things. But right now we have lots of gurus as well, and all the things that connected to something that doesn't give you a right answer because astrology is like I come from have a master in psychology, so the thing is people don't want to work, usually don't want to work and go to the nitty gritty of the situation, and spirituality is not only fairy tales and light, and and so people usually repress that thing. And when we talk about spirituality, people are okay, we have to dress in linen and all white and floating across something and be all, everything's going to be all right, and that's not it. It's not a unicorn land. So that's it. For me, astrology is that having to work with the energy that you got, and if you have squares in oppositions, you have to tame them, and understand them, because that's the strength that you have to start something, to ignite into something. If everything was trines and sextiles, it would be just boring. Usually what I say. So
Yeah. A lot of people with a lot of trines, especially a grand trine, especially.
mhm.
I tell them, look, you have a Ferrari, but you got to put the key in it.
Exactly, that's it, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, because a lot of times if things go too well, you have a degree in psychology, and I'm always telling people astrology is a psychological language, and
Exactly.
if you approach it that way, you'll get a lot out of it. Well, you put your finger on it. People don't want to work. If you want to do the work, um, astrology can increase your intuition. I say it's not fortune telling, but it can help you make your fortune because
Exactly.
it improves you. Well, you know, there's the first American billionaire, I think you probably know he said this. He said, millionaires don't use astrology.
But billionaires do. Yeah. Yeah.
It was J.P. Morgan. I think he was the first billionaire because he would use astrology to see how a city was going to develop because he was a
Mm-hmm.
real speculator. That's how he made most of his money.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I feel sorry for people when they're not interested in it. I've had people say, "Well, I'm not interested in that." I'm saying, "Well, that's fine. I'm not going to convince you."
Exactly. I'm not a guru. I'm not just selling nothing. Just doing my thing if you want to. Just, just I'm going to be right here doing my thing. That's it.
Wonderful, because your thing. I mean, you do astrology, but you do the art like behind you, which I can't stop
Yeah.
looking.
Thank you. Thank you. This was made this is amazing you're asking because I decided to put in this in here because my daughter asked me to. This was for an exhibition 12 years ago when I was ending my master's degree. And so I had this exhibition for children and I'm going to do several more because I'm an illustrator, so I'm trying to give um, a different kind of and teach children a different kind of sensibility to analyze certain things, because usually when you go across a book, and for children you have a very kind of simplistic kind of thing going on. So we have once upon a time there was a princess, and then you have the drawing of a princess, and this right here, this is the teen soldier and the ballerina, and this is the story of Hans Christian Andersen in only one drawing. So this is full of cryptic things and associations, free association, and I did it for almost more than, I don't know, 33 or 34 for different Christian Andersen tales and Grimm tales and Portuguese traditional tales. I did a lot of them so they could train something, and
I would really like it if you could send me an email of it because I want to show it to Amy because I think
okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'm sitting in front of one of her tapestries. This one's the
I
aisle.
know, I was going to ask you that because, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Your work is amazing. Yeah.
It's a tapestry and it's the Poseidia, which was the lost island, one of the islands of Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
I like sitting in front of it. I mean, it really is real.
Yeah. It's not it's not a fake, it's no IG. I understand you.
Yeah. It you know the whole thing about astrology, and tarot. I just think that if you want to be a citizen in today's world,
Mhm.
not how do you know what's true, especially with AI and the chat boxes and all this other stuff? How do you know what's real? If you don't
Mhm.
have developed intuition, you're going to be left behind, or you're going to be lied to, or you're going to be like a sheeple. So, what develops your intuition? Astrology, tarot.
Astrology, exactly. Yeah.
So people who have a problem with intuition, because it used to be called, at least in America or in English, used to be called women's intuition. So I think there's a sexist element to the prejudice against intuition. And the thing with religion, I don't know what to say. It's a lot of people need God watching them every second so that they don't go out and kill and maim and steal and whatever.
Yeah, they need rules, so they need to impose rules in some kind of way. I feel that people need to, to be punished as they were children. Okay, I
Yeah,
can't do this because God is watching. Ever, So and that thing you were talking about, it's quite interesting because I feel that people are still not harnessing the knowledge about what is the energy, because people talk about a lot about gender. I guess it's because of this south node in Scorpio. They tend to talk a lot about gender, and the main focus is right there. But for me is, male energy and feminine energy, and they both coexist inside ourselves. So both male and female, and always talking about that because I know a lot of a lot of women that have a lot of male energy, you know, a lot of fire signs and air signs, and they're going to be more, you know, articulate and pragmatic and more aggressive towards something. And they don't need to be lesbians, but they have this male masculinity that's more to do than to receive. So that's it. And, you know, and the same thing for guys. I know a lot of, you know, really feminine men, and that's okay too. They don't need to be gay. So I think this understanding, when people start to understand this, is going to be a lot more easier to be more empathic and start to understand who we have in front of us. That's it.
Well, let's hope karma cards will help. But I think we're coming out of the dark ages.
Yeah, a little bit.
Time and there's so many things about, you know, the prejudice against people who love in a different way is, to me, is all ridiculous. But I had a very good childhood, so things are different. I mean, forgetting for the fact that the greatest fighting force in the history of the world was the Spartans. The 300 were more homosexual than anybody that's ever lived since that time.
Exactly.
They defeated by 10,000 people and would still be fighting if they hadn't been betrayed. But in my neighborhood, growing up in Brooklyn,
that's I was going to say that you grew up in Brooklyn, right? Yeah.
Toughest people in my neighborhood were the homosexuals, and a lot of them were trans because they lived in this big house. They all stayed with each other. They had been in the war because it was the 1950s, and they had learned karate in Okinawa, and they were the toughest people.
Amazing.
You know, all the tough men in my neighborhood would stay away from these guys and wouldn't say one word to them because they'd kill you. And not only that, but unfortunately, this is true. People might not like it, but there were a lot of hitmen and made men in Brooklyn, and they had been in jail, and they had gotten a taste for going with guys. And a lot of these homosexual drag queens went out with hitmen. And so it was double. So growing up, I would never think anything was wrong with being homosexual. Because
exactly. You were used to it. You were used to it. Yeah.
We were having a great time and everybody admired them. So you know, to see the prejudices that people have is so, and I know that's all part of the dark ages. It's got to end.
Yeah. And so we have Pluto in Aquarius doing the job right now. That's it.
Mars opposing and today the moon's in Leo, I think. So
yeah, conjunct with Mars. Yeah.
Moon and Mars are opposing Pluto, so everyone's a little compulsive. That's what I try and do with my writing on social media, is to let people know what's going on a personal level. Because there's tons of astrologers, you know, predicting recession and the world this and the chat boxes. I just want to tell people because it falls somewhere in everyone's chart, what's going on in the sky right now. But if people, they don't understand that. See,
exactly.
It's not like you and I think that we are better than anyone. We just know stuff.
And other people, I was going to start to talk in Portuguese. Sorry, I was going full Portuguese.
A lot of friends who that's what they speak. You speak incredibly.
Oh, thank you. I was a foreign exchange student during a year back in 2004 in Tennessee. Go figure. 1 year. Yeah, 1 year. But we learned English in Portugal, so that's it. But you know, that year was really important to me. So that's it. So thank you.
Publishing now, they're selling less and less what we call in America foreign rights, because everybody speaks English.
Yeah, everybody's
So, I mean, it's great, but I used to like my karma cards came out in Chinese, so that was kind of cool.
Really? Yeah, that's amazing. In Mandarin, or you know.
I have a picture of it, but
I still don't.
Oh, you have the new one. Okay, great.
Yeah, I have the new ones.
If you have any questions, ask away till
I have, but I'm going to say I'm going to have to warn you that we only have 9 minutes left, and because I don't have the professional version of Zoom, I'll have to end this session and send you another link. Is it okay for you, Monty? You still have more 30 minutes or something
of
of your
course.
time? Yes?
But
Okay.
I would have sent you the link because
Okay. It's just because I don't know if you then you were going to be able to
oh,
um
I definitely want to do it. So this is funny though. I was passing through all my photographs. This is
oh my
Amy in
God. Oh my God.
the
When was that? When was that? Oh my God.
'90s.
That's in
You
the
were the
90s. Yeah. I was a kid when this came out for the first time. I was 1 year old, 1988. So
friend.
that's it.
I just want to show people we've been doing this a while, and then this is when we were the first people in the history of the world to sell tarot cards on national
On
television.
national television. That's crazy. I know.
Right. I know, and I don't even think it's ever happened since. But I'm looking for the Chinese version. I know I have it here somewhere. We've done so many things as the problem, like I said, but I'll find it. But I don't mind at all. So just ask away. I mean, this gives you some idea of how many things we've done.
Yeah, I guess over 50 books, and I have my data right here. I guess over 50 books. That's it. It's amazing. It's a lifetime of achievements, and all the things that you guys work on are simply beautiful. So
We
that's it.
like to think that we're just getting started, but we know that.
You have until 100 and
All right, I'm just going to remember you. I don't see the picture of the Chinese version, but it does exist somewhere.
Oh, you're going to find it definitely. Don't worry. The Chinese edition?
There's too much stuff here.
I believe you. I believe you. So, because of too much stuff and because of the all the things that you created, separately or in duo, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite project,
Oh my God,
ever?
which is your favorite child?
It's different. It's difficult. I know. I know.
I have to say that I'm kind of in love with the Wild Goddess Oracle, which we did
Hmm.
a while recently, actually. It's let me see if I can show it to you.
I know what it is. I have some people that I know that have that. I still have to get mine. Yeah, it's amazing.
It came
It's
out
quite beautiful. Yeah,
of French at the same time with Trey Daniel.
it's beautiful. I'm trying to get one, yeah, one,
I don't know why, but I guess it's like you feel like it's your favorite child and you're not supposed to have one.
but that is beautiful. It's an amazing work.
The other one is
Really.
Amy, which of course is this one
Yeah, that is beautiful as well.
book. We worked so long on it, and we worked with the designer to make it so that when you say something in the text, the picture is right there. Because I
Right there.
hate when you have and you say something and the picture is like the last page that you got to turn the page. It's just a perfect book. Obviously, ever since I met Amy, she's been a great artist since she was in her 20s, and so like this is her studio, and it just
Beautiful.
shows all kinds of her clothing, the early clothing. That's early clothing. I just love it. This book, it has like 300 pages and 200 and something photographs, and
It's
I mean
beautiful.
favorites. Really, I would have to say.
When
Yeah,
does the documentary comes out? Do you have
that's a really good question. I'm actually right now in tech support hell because um, we're going to have a real editor, but because Amy and I have been together so long, and because we have video like what I showed you, and we have a
Mhm.
lot of it from early days, what we're going to try and do is I'm getting all our video onto one what's called an NAS, a network of it's a NAS, network attached storage, and
Okay.
all the stuff's going to be on there, and we're going to watch it. We're going to say this is okay. Well, let's use this. Let's use that. And until we can do that, we don't really know what we're going to say, because then we want to give it to the editor. Because if you give the editor, 5,000 hours worth of stuff, you can't really expect them to do that. And plus, it would
Yeah.
cost.
It's a lot of footage since the 70s. Oh my God. And you're going to tell your stories separately and from the beginning and then, in
A little bit. It's going to mirror. Amy's art book is supposed to be like that. It's as if you've come to visit the studio, and we just talk and don't shut up and just tell you everything. So,
that's
so that's the way we conceived of it, and we're trying to make this like Welcome to Our Life. But we see so many documentaries, and so many of them are about this person is a thief, this person is a crook, this person is a liar, and the documentaries are good. We're trying to make a documentary about two people who love each other and are not thieves. And we've had trouble, so we have to put. I don't mean trouble as a couple, but we've had rejections and
hmm
people, things like that. We have to put that in, or else people are going to say, "Oh, these people are just so full of it, and they're leaving out." But we want to make it interesting. That's
Yes, and you're going to make it interesting because you have so much. It's how would I say this? It's an amazing journey, and even if you have to put, something that someone said about your work or something, it's interesting. You're making publicity in itself. So,
we're trying,
um,
and then we have to avoid making it seem like it's a big sell.
yeah.
Like buy our stuff. Which, I mean, thank God we're okay.
And you
So
are successful. So don't be, that's it. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's it.
think the thing that you picked up on, which I'm so honored by, is that we're successful in a real way. We don't
That's it.
want our bills are paid, we're healthy, we're in love, and we live with each other. And every day we're just thankful to be alive. So to me, that's success, because I have clients, and I'm sure you do, who are very wealthy and they're not happy and they want more. The goal of the yogi is contentment in all circumstances. That's what it says in Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi. His teacher tells him that. And I think about that all the time,
All the time. Yeah.
in all circumstances. I'm not saying that at all, because I have a way to go. But I understand that contentment is the goal. Because we're all in this together. I don't understand why people get so bad and evil towards each other. When we're all alive, we're all going to die. Let's make the best of it. Let's have some fun.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
It's one of the most fun things in the world, I think.
That's it. That's it, Monte, right there. So you were talking about being in love. Um, how do you want to choose three words for Amy for her work and herself? If you would describe Amy in three words.
Where we get three?
Okay, you can make it 10. You can make it 100, thousands, I don't know.
Description of Amy that was given to us by a woman who was doing what Edgar Cayce used to do. She never met us, didn't ever saw us, didn't know who we were. She was under hypnosis by a hypnotist who would ask every person that he hypnotized, because that was his job, was stop smoking, stop eating.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
We'd always try and get somebody to see if he could ever find an Edgar Cayce, and this woman could do it. And when she came to describe Amy, this is what she said: the innocence of youth with the wisdom of years.
Oh my God.
That
Beautiful.
perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. That's I
That's
could
beautiful.
teary-eyed thinking about it. But Amy, and another way is three words: her mother's daughter. Her mother was the nicest, best person, talented artist in the world. And to me, that's the highest compliment I ever pay her, is I say, "You're your mother's daughter."
Oh.
Yeah, because we all lived together. It was fun. We actually all worked on the Enchanted Tarot together. We did children's books together. She died in '96, and we miss her every day. That's what started me being psychic, because we missed her so much. I decided I'm going to try and contact her. And we were also living with Amy's grandmother, who outlived Amy's mother.
Mm.
Um, and she would confirm some of the information that I would get. I wouldn't tell her I was getting it from her deceased daughter, but she would say, "How do you know those things?"
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I would say things about the family and that I had gotten from Amy's mother. So I knew that it was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Um,
Those insights. Yeah.
so, I mean, I'm living a magical life, but to me, I still have to go scrub the toilet seat before I send it back for repair. I don't see the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
I think all these people that are at the World Economic Forum and all our leaders should do their own dishes and make their own beds, because you got to know what's real. And I think a lot of the problems in the world today is the wealthy and the powerful get out of touch with what life is. They don't understand what it is to be poor. I've been homeless. They don't understand what it is to be homeless. They don't understand what it is to not have people kissing their butt and sucking up to them to see what they can get out of them. And I think we're the Aquarian Leo polarity, which is what's coming up to, this age is started, I think.
Is your North Node in Aries, Monty? Sorry to interrupt. Is that?
That's amazing. You have a great memory.
I guess so, because mine is too. But you have something in Libra. I don't know if I grabbed that info.
I have Mars and Neptune in Libra, and the South Node.
In Libra, yeah.
Libra, for all you non-astrologers, was the hippie generation.
Yeah.
Balance, peace, and love. And of course, sometimes it was good and sometimes it wasn't so good. But I also have Mars in Libra, so I'm willing to.
Libra, yeah.
But I have an aspect that is not very much. One day I might do a book on this, of the septile. When you divide the circle in 7, it's a mystical. It's the weird number, so I don't blame people for not wanting to get involved. I have a Mars Pluto septile, and when this woman did her her psychic readings, life readings with us, she said I had been a gladiator in the past lifetime.
It's quite possible, because usually when you have a Mars and connection with your South Node, usually have things connected, with aggression and going to war and masculinity, and yeah, I know several people with that aspect as well. Yeah.
Pluto is, Mars Pluto is like what we're having today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's found that when I see someone with that, I was like, well, you could have been a hitman, but you didn't do it. But Mars Pluto is death, and to have a Mars Pluto septile,
it's complicated.
It's very strange. But she said that I'd been a gladiator, but I never was defeated or killed. That I lived and got my freedom and all this other stuff, and I was advising the Roman government on more greater and horrendous displays of bloodshed. I could just see myself doing that because I do think about politics a lot. But Amy has 2 septiles to her midheaven, one from Uranus and one from Neptune.
Really?
Yeah.
And she's an Aries. She's an Aries, right? She's Aries. Yeah, that's it.
And for those who are watching your show, this might sound like gibberish, but it's not. And it gives you such a rich understanding of people and life, and it expands your mind. And even if it's nonsense, you'll have a better experience of life. So it's really, I think that's why I'm so excited about Karma Cards, and was so excited when you were interested enough to ask me to come on your show, because, I mean, that kicked off, it changed my life. It really did. But before and after is so different.
It's a different timeline, I guess. Do you remember, or do you even recall those experiences? It's just like, living in a different timeline, because it is. Actually, it is.
Well, I as a musician growing up, I gave it all up, all the marijuana smoking in 1981, and that's a big difference right there. I don't remember some of it.
Really?
I lived through the 60s. There's a joke that if you remember the 60s, you weren't there. Well, I was there because
I wasn't. But never mind. Just say it.
I have, okay, so for those of you who do know astrology, I'm an Aquarius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ruler of Aquarius in my 11th house, which is the house of friends, hopes, wishes. It's actually the house of people who get together to become the new authority, because the 10th house is authority, 11th house is like trade unions,
Mm-hmm.
political movements, and that part of fortune is there, that circle with the X is there. So I have really unusual friends. And in my life, Amy and I joke, there's something called peripheral vision when you're able to see out of the sides of your eyes.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast called Peripheral Visions, because no matter who you talk about, we were there or we knew them. Or
Exactly.
I was watching a Michael J. Fox a documentary called Still, and I lived with him every day for 3.5 months. And when we were the making of Secret of My Success, we every day we see somebody that we knew or that we've met, and that's the Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius in the 11th house, and it's also the closest aspected planet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's in conjunct, so I can
Okay.
that and that, just knowing that one thing, if I had gone to an astrologer to know that I can be my own worst enemy, that would have been worth the whole cost of going to the astrologer. Was an in conjunction between my sun and the planet Uranus. I can rebel against myself.
Exactly.
And we are talking about the South Node and Mars. I've never been hurt by another person. I've only hurt myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's pointed in my face. I've had knives. I've had people, fight with me. I've never been hurt. I guess it's because of that past life or the Mars South Node thing. But hurt myself? Yeah, I broke my wrist. I did this. I did that stupid thing. So astrology helps you know your strengths so that you can overcome the weaknesses that it also teaches.
Exactly. That's it. Well, I have a couple more questions for you. And do you have I don't know, what tarot deck do you want to choose? But you have a major arcana or minor arcana favorite cards. Okay. Do you have a favorite card and a least favorite card that you want to talk about, and the shadow and the light aspect of each one of them?
High Priestess is the card that I think about before I do a reading. I don't know. We have decks. Oh, here it is. We have decks all over the deck here.
Sort of bit like.
I don't, because it's Amy's art, I don't really have one that I don't like. I mean, nobody likes to get this one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Three of Swords. It's the most repelling one for you. That's such a Three of Swords. Yeah.
But it's also, it brings a smile on my face, because remember I was showing you the home shopping network.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we on another kind of network called QVC, which is also like the home shopping network, and they put us on at in the morning on Sunday because somehow we had gotten on there and they wanted to get rid of us. And so they put us on when everyone was getting ready to go to church, was getting dressed to go to church. And so, and they also put us on with the first show of the first Black host, the first African-American host on QVC, who is still there, by the way, and is one of their top people, is probably their top people. And they wanted to get rid of her too. So she got every bad card you could get. And then, and I mean, she got that one.
The Tower, the Three of Swords, the Seven of Swords, every single shit, Nine of Swords, Ten of Nine of One.
Camera on his shoulder that would come in and zoom in on it. And I mean, and we said, well, this means you're a little sad. And she's like, great, this would be much fun at parties. And we're like, whoa, this woman's a pro. And we sold 1,000 sets. We sold out. We only had 1,000. We sold them all. But she got and someone said to me later, why didn't you take the bad cards out of the deck? And I said to him, and this is the truth, it never occurred to us because that's who we are.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite card. This is the one I always think of before I do a reading, the High
The
Priestess.
High Priestess, yes. Okay.
She represents power that's beyond the physical. I mean, the Magician is great, but I like the High. When I wrote the book that comes with this card, I said, look, she's got her hand behind her crown chakra and her base chakra, which symbolizes she doesn't need to use her hands to get the job done. She knows it's supposed to happen. It happens.
It will happen. Yeah.
It's the ultimate expression of feminine energy. You know? Yeah. So that's the card I think of before I do a psychic reading, especially. I mean, I like a lot of them. I like the Devil card in our deck.
It's amazing.
No, because Amy is a National Endowment for the Arts award-winning fine artist. She broke down the barrier between crafts and painting. In 1986, she got with a federal government, U.S. government National Endowment for the Arts grant in the category of painting, because normally her work is all fabric. It's just like what's behind me. And normally they would have expected her to enter in crafts, but she considers herself a painter. She's a good enough painter where if someone asked her to paint this, she could reproduce it as a painter. But she was tired of it, and she had gotten into doing fabric work because she was doing props for the original Broadway production of Chicago.
Chicago, exactly. Yeah. I heard of it.
Walton, who's he's like a Chagall angel hovering over Amy's life. Yeah, he gave her a chance. She wasn't in the union or anything. And Amy made the bedspread that Gwen Verdon and Cheetah Rivera and Eliza Minnelli danced on. And she meant multi-layered, and Amy realized that the multi-layered aspect of fabric work would mirror the multi-layered aspect of life. And so she just started doing fabric work. And when I first met her, I was like, well, this is the real stuff. She's been a great artist since the day I met her. And I would like to live to be into my hundreds. So I want to see Amy as famous and respected as people like Damien Hirst with Raw Meat and all this, what the art world has, unfortunately, in my opinion, is not open to other kinds of art. Yes, German expressionism, and well, you're an artist, you understand.
We have lots of lobbies and closed circles and handshakes and private handshakes and stuff like that. So yeah, and if you are independent in your expression and you are genuine, and when I'm saying genuine, come on, you have two daredevils living with each other. You and Amy, we have 111. We have Aries plus Aquarius, and you are the rebels, the original rebels. So you're not expecting to kiss anyone's ass, and sometimes that's difficult to integrate. That's it.
And the thing is people are aware of them. I mean, we're very close friends with Audrey Flack, the famous photorealist. Amy is the real thing since the day she met her. Audrey does not part with $1 too easily, and she bought one of Amy's. Upon seeing it, she had Amy commission a piece for her, which is a big deal. And Audrey was the first woman in Jansen's history of art. So she's always known that Amy would be a part of art history, but she always told Amy, stay away from the art world. It's just not for you. So we went around it. The Enchanted Tarot has gotten Amy known. There is a Portuguese version of the Enchanted Tarot. That's in 5 languages. It's gotten Amy known internationally, but I would like to see her, because people have a tendency to think, oh, it's just beautiful. It's not just beautiful.
It has meaning. Yeah. It's layered. It's symbolic.
Your work behind you. I mean, I could talk about the piece behind you for an hour, 2 hours, because it shows the interconnectedness along the lines of Einstein's unified field theory. What you're showing there is you're not just making art, you're making information. You're making art that educates, which is the way art was for thousands of years.
Exactly.
So I mean, when I see your work, I keep looking at it because it's
Thank
so
you.
obviously filled with intelligence and meaning. I'm not surprised it's been done by an astrologer.
Thank you.
Oh, when we our goal now is after the documentary, we're hoping it's going to be the tide that raises all the boats up and gets the book selling to the point where we can do a museum. And we'll have to invite you to have a show at our museum once we.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank
For
you.
real. That's the goal. And so far, Amy and I, one thing that everybody who knows us knows is that if we say we're going to do something, we do it.
You do. You do. Okay. Yeah.
So
And
get,
that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
but it'll happen.
It will. It will. And well, you have Pluto working on for you. I guess, I have so the Saturn was tough. I guess Pluto is it goes a little deeper, but it doesn't restrain. It transforms. So I like it better because I'm a Pisces and I'm working with Saturn on the long run.
Saturn is going to be there for 2.5 years, but I have
Yeah,
Pluto.
I know.
I have Pluto very close to my ascendant. So Pluto and me have been friends for quite some time, which is, I think, the reason that I didn't get killed when I was shot, or not shot, but when I had the guns pointed in my face and the knives and whatever.
All those
Um,
things, yeah.
well, yeah, and I'm very comfortable with Pluto, but I have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah.
And when the astronomer said that Pluto wasn't a planet, I laughed because I said, it'll be back. You'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Talking about the most powerful planet in astrology. Is those that were last shall be first. The Bible has a lot of interesting information in it. And it's wise in a lot of ways, but religion that keeps people from expanding their consciousness is not going to work. It's just
Yeah.
going to play like rotten fruit.
Yeah, and Saturn is taking care of it. You see, everything that's connected to religion and the leaders and Catholic religion, and now the Dalai Lama with that, controversy. I think, we have still a couple more years to deal with that because, it has to have, someone has to transform that into something else. I don't know what.
I
Or
agree.
being a little bit more open, or I don't know, being coming off as more honest.
Exactly. It was too dishonest and too inhuman in the sense of making priests not be able to be sexual. So what did they
Hmm.
now all the religions are being sued by people who were abused as children. And like it just came out today in the American news about something in the Illinois diocese about I mean I don't know how it is in Portugal, but in
It's the
prison
same. It's happening the same. It's even worse if you imagined it. It's even worse, It's worse. It's a whole generation of people that, are trying to have justice. And, for so many, many years, people were just looking, to the
looking
other side. Yeah.
that
Trying
will
to,
happen anymore. I mean, I don't know if it's true in Portuguese prisons, but in American prisons, if they find out you molested a child, the guards turn around and the people do things to you because
yeah,
that
it's the same in every prison, I guess, in the world. Yeah. Yeah. They do not tolerate that.
you don't do things to. I mean, that's the reason I did not follow in my father's footsteps and became a policeman
You
because
wanted to? You wanted to, though?
when I did, he said, "You can't be a cop. You're too nice." And I said, "I'm not too nice. If I find someone has molested a child, I'm not. He's not going to make it to the station."
What was your father's sun sign, if I can ask you, Monte?
Ouch. Oh my God.
Was a Sag as a
Oh, yeah.
police officer. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Jewish cop. Um, and he was a very tough guy.
Oh my
And,
God.
oh yeah. Oh my God. And I said to him, "No, I'm not too nice. Uh, I just don't understand how you guys can handle." He says, "Well, you got to shut yourself off in those cases when you run up on a child abuse case." I said, "I'm not going to do that." And so I didn't become a cop. And then later on in years past, speaking of peripheral visions, I met the most decorated policeman in America who had actually been buried in the World Trade Center twice. He was a Port Authority policeman, and he had been at the World Trade Center the first explosion and got buried and dug up. and did heroic things, and the second one and did heroic things. And he had medals like, down to here. Tommy McHale. And I said to him, he said to me, "Why didn't you become a cop? You would have been a good cop." I said, "Because of that." He says, "Yeah, that's why they don't give me those cases of child abuse. Because I just, how people can do things to a child, priests or criminals, I just don't understand it. And they don't deserve to have a church if they can't keep it in their pants. That's just my
Yeah, and that's it. And you have, Protestant, the Protestant church is completely different, because people have to channel their energy into something. So, restrictions going to cause clinical cases, but basically it's just like that. If people are not allowed to marry, to have sexual intercourse, or to create things, they're going to be completely nuts. That's it. But the tolerance by the people, the power that the people in power and are so obnoxious, and in these countries, Italy and Spain and Portugal, all those things that they're being, dug up, concerning the Catholic Church are really, really horrible. They're horrific, actually.
does seem that way sometimes, I have to say. But I do think, well, there's a tremendous centripetal force, and because they've accumulated so much money and power connections, and so many people depend upon them for their living, or in one way or another. Uh, they won't go quietly. But at the same time, if people just ignore the whole thing, which it seems like what it's doing, because I don't know how it is in Portugal, but the church attendance is very bad here.
Yeah, same here. Same here. We're being taken by other traditions. I have to talk about this because when I went to Tennessee for a year, I lived with a former police officer, and that's funny. And he was a pastor. So a police turned into a pastor, and it was from the God Assemblies. And I was always discussing religion with him when I was 16 back in the day. And what happened is that we're having, from, Brazilian influence. We have so many people over here because of the Portuguese diaspora and all their other cultures. We have a lot of, Adventist churches and churches, connected with, those traditions in North and South America. And it's all about the spectacle and the community sense of it, and singing chants and all those things. But well, doesn't make any difference because we have to pay for several things, and those things, that there are several churches that are also connected to mafias, and that's it. They're always something. I usually say that religion is kind of a accountability organized, or organized accountability, or organized mafia at some point, because that's it. Spiritually, we have a book. We're not certain of several things and who wrote them, and because we're all humans, and people that wrote them were humans as well, have several metaphors and misspellings and lost in translation situations. So that's it. We're
100%. And as anyone who's ever been edited will tell you, a lot of times what you wrote is totally misunderstood. But one thing that people should understand is with astrology is like now Saturn is over here and Pluto's over here, but they were together. Pluto and Saturn were together, and they were in the sign of Capricorn.
Yes, Jupiter's Capricorn and Pluto. Yeah, you're talking about 2020 and COVID. That's what you're mentioning. Yeah.
The reason I'm talking about it is because when COVID happened, Pluto and Saturn were together.
Exactly.
Pluto and Saturn were together on the degree of Capricorn, and that's only happened 5 times since the time of Christ. Christ was one of the. There's people that think that the star they followed was Pluto and Saturn together. They were following Saturn, but one of the first things that happened the next time Pluto and Saturn got together in Capricorn was the codification of the Christian Bible. where Empress Theodora and Emperor Justinian said, "This is the Bible. This isn't the Bible. And if you don't agree with me, you're a heretic." And so every time Pluto and Saturn get together in Capricorn, it's a paradigm shift. And then the next time was Charlemagne, and what was Justinian and Theodora? They rule the Ottoman, the empire in the East, and they wanted to make the Roman Empire great again. That was their thing.
Exactly.
The next time they got together with Charlemagne, and he was make the Roman Empire great again also. And then the next time after that was Kublai Khan, who said, "Yesterday you were Confucian, today you're a Buddhist, or I'll kill you." And he was the first non-Chinese to sit on the throne of China. And then the next time was the destruction of the South American empire by the Spanish and the Portuguese a little bit too.
No, the Portuguese totally.
Because of the illnesses, but that was the last time it happened. And then, so as an astrologer, we knew it was coming. We knew something was coming.
Yeah,
and
Gilsey's charge. Yeah.
I think one of the aspects of the paradigm shift for the Aquarius Leo polarity, because it's a polarity, is everybody is a star. Everybody is Aquarius, a star is Leo. And I think that's what's going to happen where religion is just not going to be part of the equation. Because, I mean, with the Virgo Pisces polarity, you had how many angels can dance on the head of a pin, that kind of Virgo worrying, and you have to have faith that the angels are there in the first place. And so but it was the world's first international conglomerate, was the church.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just like international conglomerates are not doing so great at a time when everyone's doing micro breweries and micro dropping 5 aspects of a clothing line, and everyone's getting their little act together. And I think the technology can make everybody a star and self-sufficient.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's going to be AI is going to rule the world. It's the extremism of Aquarius is sometimes frightens me, because as an Aquarius, I know they can be extreme and unemotional.
Very extremely, very unemotionally, very yeah. It's a fixed sign, it's a fixed model. They're always a little bit, tricky, I guess.
Listen, I tell people I'm half a robot. If it wasn't for the fact that I have Moon in Pisces, I'd be, terrible with.
Yeah, I thought.
Right on my ascendant, forget it. I wouldn't even want to know me. But see, that's the funny thing about astrology. You really have to get into it to understand it, because if you look at Amy's chart, you look at my chart, we shouldn't be married to anybody, let alone married to each other. Like you were saying, the ultimate rebel, the ultimate fighter, and she has Mars in Aries, for God's sakes.
Woo, just like me. That's it. What degree, by the way? What degrees? What are the degrees? Just asking. Because I have a 29 degrees, and it's so funny. It's so funny. It's a lot of study around that.
I have to get her chart
because it's my North Node as well. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, in the 11th house. So that's why I was telling you.
The 11th house. I tell you, the 11th house doesn't get enough credit. It's actually a very powerful house.
Yes.
In my book, I spend a lot of time explaining that. This is Amy's chart, display natal chart. So she has Mercury at 15 and Mars at.
Whoa, what a stellium! Yeah. I'm checking on it. Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, she was born probably on a full moon. Oh, they had in Libra.
Yeah, she has
yeah. That's amazing. Maybe. Yeah, I was.
Out there, the ancients used to say that if you're born during a full moon, you were conceived to keep a couple together.
My God.
Little known thing of the ancients. But anyway, you can see she has this. What was I saying before? Oh yeah, she has the septile between Uranus and the midheaven, and where is it? And Neptune and the midheaven, and that's what her art really is Uranus Neptune. It's new surrealism, or it's like your work representing the Einsteinian, the quantum field, representing the classic record.
Yeah.
I really love that piece. I hope you remember to send me the.
I will. Don't worry. I will. I will.
I'm not just saying this. I don't like much art. Um,
Really?
I'm, I'm very. I mean, of course, I like yes. I like what's good. Let's put it that way. And I yours is good and new. To see something that's new is it's rare. It's rare. Listen, I've written two art books. I wrote Amy's had two coffee table art books about her work, and I write about what I see. But and I admire you even more than I did before because knowing how difficult it is to be an artist. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I mean, Portugal is this a really small country to artists. We have so many creative people, but we don't have a lot of public because there's not a real industry in any field. So usually the creators do not like to be the public for other creators. That's the difficult thing. But we're doing our best and we're trying to expand, and we are good allies and
You
we are creative people. Yes.
you're an 11th house person, so you have to organize a group
Yeah,
of
I have Mars also in my 11th house. So my goal is going to be until the day I die to do cinema and to express myself and try to educate people through art in this field and, emotionally educating children because, psychology, it's what it does. I'm from educational psychology. And so I have amazing inspirations. I really like, I don't know if you know the work of the Michel Gauquelin and his wife. He was just an amazing man. He tried to, I think, to intercept that the generous the wanting of to generate data that people could connect and to understand astrology in a very statistic way, but it's difficult. It's difficult.
it's not your fault. I should have done it on my account because I do have I have that, where it can go on forever.
I'm so sorry, but that's okay. I was just checking on my phone into writing. So thank you. I don't know if you have 5 more minutes, and I'm going to, be accounting because you don't have all day and all night. And you probably have stuff to do.
It's a lot of fun. I can tell you, we're part of each other's tribe, so that's it's exciting.
Yeah, I guess so. So thank you. Say thank you, really. Um, Well, we're talking about the 11th house, but now I wanted to ask you, and this is the last question. I have I had, a whole catalog of questions to make you. So imagine that for other time and space, perhaps. But the thing that I wanted to ask you is how do you usually start your creative process? And what is the most exciting thing during the development, sorry, of a project?
I um I usually only work on projects. I mean, besides all the things around this house, but I usually work on things that I have a deal for.
Okay.
So a lot of and because Karma Cards was in 1988, we've never used an agent because I was able to meet those people who were what are called book packagers,
Mhm.
and because of them, I met incredible people in the publishing industry directly, and I
Mhm.
didn't need to use an agent. So I'll usually have Amy and I will have an idea, and then that's a very exciting part. As a matter of fact, her grandmother said that was the most fun thing for her when she was living with us, is when we would all brainstorm about the ideas and how to do it. And so that's exciting. And then, what do they say? 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Work. Exactly.
And then I do the job. And then was the second part of your question was
What is your well, you're saying the most exciting part is the beginning. You feel that is the beginning is the most exciting part of
oh, yeah,
starting a project and how you deal with, the
it's published. I mean, with books, it's that way. And you're talking about being a filmmaker, and so I used to work in the film business. It's a hard industry because
yeah, of course, yeah.
script, and then you got to get it made, and then you got to get it edited, and believe it or not, I mean, I used to work with Gordon Willis, who won the Academy Award with Woody Allen. Every time we'd finish a setup, he'd go, "We fooled him again," and he once said to me, "Yeah, really," he said to me, he says, "We're just making stuff for the editor," and I what can I say? He's Gordon Willis, and he's right. We're making stuff for the editor because it's all in the editing, and that's why you're going to want to be the director and the producer with the editor, so you can tell them what you and then it gets out there, and I have to say it's very exciting to me that you love the Karma cards, because here it is. This has been in continuous print since 1988.
Yeah,
That
it was the first one. Yeah.
was very exciting to me to know that you would want to do that. And I've had other people say that and a lot of people use the karma cards completely differently than the way I've written it. Like they'll just like pick a card. They won't keep them in planet sign houses. But that's great.
I use them a lot to spreads that are connected to North and South Node, and and astrology analysis. So it's been a journey, really.
Oh, thank you. But one of the things I like the least is the fact that I've been ripped off so much that there's every once in a while I'll get emails from people. I just bought your cards and it didn't come with a book. Can I get the PDF? I'm like, no, you bought a counterfeit set. And
Exactly. We have so many countries. Yeah. So facsimilizations. Yeah. So many things. Yeah.
it's authorized. I don't even have a PDF of, because I wrote it before there were computers.
Exactly.
Maybe there were 8 computers, the real early ones with the 2 floppy disk drives. I mean, but in terms, no, I didn't. Because I had a.
Mm-hmm.
How did I write that? Jesus. But anyway, when we had Hurricane Sandy here in the northeast of the United States, and we were without internet for like 10 days, 12 days, it was just like being back in the 60s and 70s. I hated it. I like the future. I'm an Aquarius. I like.
Yeah, exactly. Technology. Exactly.
No internet? What, are you kidding me? So, do you have any more questions? Because I want to make sure I get the good ones.
That's it. Well, I had so many other questions that are more connected to your personal, but to your life. But I guess I don't know. I think you pinned down like almost every single thing that I was going to ask you, Monty. Actually, the other question that I had is usually people say that you don't learn anything with history because history is always repeating itself. What you are most afraid and what you are most excited to that you think it's going to repeat as a cycle. But you were talking about that earlier, but here we have Pluto in Aquarius.
Yeah, that I'm afraid that Pluto in Aquarius can go one of 2 ways. Either it'll be every man's a king, or it'll go the other way where you have authoritarian people using tech and one world economy and central digital currencies. And but people talk about AI and about how it's going to save everybody, but if everybody's out of work, how's anyone going to make a living?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I'm very concerned, and I always wondered how World War II happened, and how could people be so blind, and how could people be so stupid, and how could they let these things happen? But here in America, I've watched the same thing happen, where people were there was so much division. I was not surprised when Pluto and Saturn got together in Capricorn and it resulted in an illness, because there had been so much hate because of from 2016 on. I'd been warning people, yeah, you don't have to love Trump or whatever, but you don't have to hate him either, because it's only going to make you sick, because hate makes you sick. So I was not surprised to see that. So I mean, I think that the Aquarian age can be a really great place where every person can, but I'm afraid that the authoritarians they're going to make their last stand. Yeah. They're going to really try and grab us and keep everybody down, because I know it's hard to say that people are bad, but some people are bad.
Yeah.
There's some people that look at other people as just like, oh, they're not part of my unit, so therefore I don't care. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
That's it. So I guess we end up here because we already this is almost 1 hour, almost it would be this would be 2 or 3 or 4 hours, or this would be a long conversation. There are so many things I wanted to ask you, but in this context, I think it worked just great. So thank you, Monty, for your time.
It's my pleasure. Listen, if you ever want to do it again, I'd be more than happy to do it. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And I'm hopeful, because I'm a big do-it-yourself person.
Mm-hmm.
Karma Cards is all about, because I wanted to eliminate the middle person and let people read for themselves, get into astrology for themselves. And that my new book is sort of so that you don't have to wade through these horrible old astrology books like I did, because some of them are just like, oh, Jesus. And they're so sexist.
And they have, and I was talking to about that, with a fellow astrologer, a Portuguese astrologer, and he was saying that you have a lot about, technical stuff and content, and they're like cookbooks, but they don't have the insights. So lots of that insights we come up with, they are from anthropologists and philosophical anthropologists that have this really amazing and quite unusual perspective, and we have other people they are quite inspiring, but the books are not reflecting the present. They were written like 30, 40 years ago, and we need other analysis, other stuff, other kind of analysis that people that can be like a self-service kind of deal, but without being ordinary or vulgar in the, I don't know if I'm saying the quite the correct approach, because this podcast was created by the fact that I wanted to share my knowledge with other people concerning divinatory arts. So it's not being because we have this light and shadow aspect of New Age, this kind of, because it's like kind of doing tourism. People, well, I'm going to try tarot, I'm going to try astrology, but almost like in a very surface level. It's not deep, and only some people go into that kind of depth. And it is for those people that are willing to listen and to know themselves that I'm doing this. So that's it. We have the good and the bad, and that's it. But it's kind of like, well, I'm going to try this, and now I'm going to try that. So I feel that just like a piece of art, these kind of books and information, they are going to find their public, and the people that are willing to dive deep into themselves, they're the ones who are going to listen. Then they're doing the homework, as I usually say. They're doing the homework. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Well, I mean, that's why I did Karma Cards. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because I try to make it simple, easy, and fun, and at the same time, give them the real thing. Because I can't tell you how many people write to me and say, your book was the first book I ever read, and now I'm like a Wiccan priest or something like, like the Enchanted Tarot. A lot of people say the Enchanted Tarot was their first tarot deck, and now they, but that's about is, yes, people are busy, people are distracted, people don't have time. So that's why they have podcasts like this, which is great. And that's what my books were always all about. So that if you just want to have some fun, you can do it. And all of a sudden you might realize, wow, there's more to this than I thought. And
they're going to explore it by themselves, yeah.
Well, yeah, and as I said, as Einstein said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it. And I can explain astrology and tarot and all those things pretty simply.
Simply, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a gift. So thank you so much, Monte. It was
a lot of fun for me.
Thank you. For me too.
Bye-bye.
So see you.
Stay in touch.
We will. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.